Welcome to hell. There is no escape. There is no escape. You are in my control now. Welcome to hell.
And they'll take you one by one, and no one will hear you scream. No one will hear you scream.
Welcome to hell, everybody. Welcome, Team Doom, for another episode of Let's Talk About Horror with your host, Walterdoom. And I had to bring my boy here today. He is a podcaster, literary figure. He is part of the LGBTQIA community, and he is very amped about horror. He's been a horror for a very long time, and I had to bring him back on the show, you know. So let's welcome Mark O. Estes.
Hey, I'm very, very glad to be back. It's long overdue, but I'm here.
Yeah, I know. Last time, I mean, I had to make up this episode for you, man, because last time we recorded that, 2021 best movies and all that, and yeah, we both was going through a lot of stuff, couldn't have time to edit.
Right.
Everything was just off schedule and everything, and I was just like, yo, I got to make it up to you, big dog. You know,
I appreciate it.
Man, yeah. If y'all want to follow Marco Estes, you can follow him on Instagram, which is Mark O. Estes, on Twitter, which is the Anti-Critic, and his podcast Instagram, which is Midnight Social Distortion.
Yes, God. Yes, sir.
Yeah. How's everything with you, man?
Man, everything's crazy. Like you said, sometimes life gets the better of you, and I started season 2 of my podcast, and then shit just went left. So I'm trying to get back
feel
on
you on
that.
that.
So I was, I got to get back on it. I'm planning something for Halloween, and that's about it, man. But yeah, I'm trying to make up on my reading and writing, so I feel behind on that. But yeah.
Yeah, I know a lot of people that probably don't follow you. I know because I follow you, but what you reading these days, man? Like, what you reading up on?
Man, a lot of horror behind the scenes stuff. I just finished both versions of Taking Shape and Taking Shape 2. Taking Shape is the comprehensive history of bringing the Halloween movies from script to screen, and they ended it with not a cliffhanger, because each movie you find out the behind the scenes stuff, like the arguments, the deleted scripts and stuff like that, and that's just in the first book. And so they came out with Taking Shape 2 because the authors were like, we had so much information about lost scripts that those became long in itself, that we decided to make it to a second book. And so the second book is all of those lost, actually 24 of those lost Halloween scripts and drafts. And it was just interesting, man. I mean, there was like 3 different versions of Halloween. I want to say 5. No, it was 2 versions of Halloween 5 that they almost went with. And then they also was talked about the different versions of between Halloween 8 and before they did the remake.
Oh yeah.
They had so many damn scripts, and a lot of them was gonna stay with the storyline left off from Halloween Resurrection, bringing back Freddy. What's his? Busta Rhymes' character Freddy.
Oh yeah.
To sequent movies, and they had some where they were gonna combine the Thorn trilogy with the H2O timeline, and they just kept getting rejected. And so it's interesting because it shows you just how fucked up the franchise is behind the scenes wise. And I recommend it to anybody who is interested in the Halloween films. They do have an audiobook version of it on Amazon. A lot of my friends who did read the book, they listened to it, but I'm like, I want to hold it in my hand because I can sit there and like take it in. But
Yeah,
yeah,
I'm the same way too. I'm more of like I like to physically read the book. I'm not too much of an audiobook type person
right.
because for me I don't know if I have like an undiagnosed ADHD or ADHD or
Listen,
ADD thing. I can literally trail off if
right. Yeah, if it's not a podcast, I can't keep up with you. I've there's been a lot of books I did do audio with, but what I would do is I would listen to the audio version while I was working, and then if I wasn't getting distracted, and then I would leave off from where I left off in the audiobook and go pick up the physical copy when I got home and read it from there. So I was doing a combination. But yeah, and I'm about to start on. I'm gonna do dual duty and read Interview with the Vampire and Slash of the Titans, which is just like Taking Shape, but it's about the different scripts that led up to the final draft of Freddy versus Jason.
oh, okay. That one sounds very interesting.
Yeah, I like how they have like I think 6 or 7 scripts, and they give you not just the synopsis of the scripts, and this isn't all the other books too. They give you the breakdown of the entire story, like a big long synopsis, and then all the characters who were supposed to be in the movie and who they've connected with, talking to the screenwriters and all this shit. It's a great thing to have. So if I recommend these books to anybody who's into horror, because you'd be like, oh, they're kind of thick, but you by the time you look up, you'd have been burnt through them. I swear to God, because you're into the shit that you're reading.
Yeah.
Like they was gonna have like an MTV version of Halloween, and Michael Myers was literally gonna have a leather jacket, and he was going to be riding around in a Ferrari in the '80s. So that was the pitch for Halloween 4 initially.
That's crazy. I don't know. I'm not that big of a Halloween fan, but I would definitely probably wouldn't be interested in checking that book out, you know?
Right. You know, I'm a Fred head, so but it was just the thought of reading about Michael Myers, and I'm not just the character, but just the way that franchise took off was just interesting to me. So
Yeah. Yeah.
I'll send you the link to where you can get them from.
All right. That's what's up, man. But yeah, I brought you on today, man, because you know, the newest movie that's out on Hulu, Pray, man. Let us
Lord.
pray, my niggas.
Yes.
Had to bring some Tupac in this.
Yes. Yes.
Oh man, but yeah, man. I was just like, if anybody has an opinion and just like is interesting to break down this movie with, would definitely be Mark himself, because man, I know you're like very into like the old school movies, into like the old school figures like Freddy, Jason, Leatherface, and all that, man. And I was just like, if anybody has seen like a lot of the Predator movies, it would be definitely him.
Yeah. And it's funny because I used to love catching up with, I like watching those when I was a kid over and over. And I remember when Predators came out, and I was like, that concept is so interesting. They're putting humans on the predator planet. I think that's what the concept was.
Yeah,
And
that's
like,
what it was.
oh God, it is so interesting. And I remember it just went dead after a while. And unless you count those horrible ass Alien versus Predator movies.
You know
I
what?
know,
I watched AVP. AVP was the first one was all right. You know, I was okay with it.
the only thing I liked about it is Sanaa Lathan's character. She was the only great thing about that movie.
Definitely.
And the Predators. But as far as how they handle the aliens, I didn't care for it. But
oh well, yeah. But the second one, the second AVP, I fell asleep on that one. When I was doing my binge watch on like all those films before we got up to this episode today, you know, I was like, all right, I gotta watch all the Predator movies. I gotta see what all of them are about, you know, and getting up to like AVP Requiem, which I kind of make fun of it and call it Rectum because it's total shit.
Good name for it.
You know, I just literally like I knocked out like maybe in like the first 10-15 minutes.
Boy, I remember when Never came out, I was like, okay, it's gonna be rated R because a lot of people was pissed when AVP came out, it was
Oh yeah,
PG-13. You
yeah.
know, like how the fuck you have a PG-13 Alien and Predator movie? That's not gonna fly. But when they was like, because I remember the directors of the second movie, Reckon was like, oh, we're gonna make it real rated R. We're gonna go there. We're gonna do all of this. And I'm like, you
Yeah.
killed a kid in the woods. Then you went as far as you sat there and had all these pregnant women get impregnated with like, you know, xenomorphs. And so it's like,
Mhm.
it was bloody as fuck, but it was still like kind of all over the place.
Yeah.
And there was nobody you wanted to root for. And there was only one good kill in the entire movie, and that's when that girl was running down the hall and then Predator sat there through their staff and she staked through the wall. I was like, I gasped the whole entire movie because I was like, damn. But yeah. Nah.
Yeah, but we ain't talking about that shit. We talking about pray. Let us pray. Let us pray. All right, man. So how you feel about, well, actually, before we talk about how we feel about it, let's kind of give a synopsis of what this movie's about. So basically, if y'all haven't seen Prey before, Prey is following this Comanche tribe, which is like back in the 17th, 19th century, and is following this character named Naru. Female, by the way, female character, strong character, by the way. And you're following basically her journey into like becoming an aspiring hunter for her tribe, which is also like she's trying to become like not really a war chief, but she kind of gets to that level,
right?
You know, in the end. But yeah, throughout this journey, she's a very like smart character who ends up going into a battle with the first Predator, prehistoric Predator, and my God, that guy is vicious.
Very much so. I was like, and when he unmasked himself, I was like, "You're the ugliest motherfucker." I was
no. You gotta use the line. You one ugly motherfucker.
Like shit. Because I said he said that when he took that mask off, I repeated that. I was watching TV and said, "Oh, you is one ugly motherfucker." Because I was like, "Damn." And just imagine being in that time period and seeing something, especially when, you know, the indigenous and Native American people, they are very all about, you know, nature and stuff, and they have prophecies and stuff like that, you know, and so just looking up in the sky and seeing it, they just probably look at it as like as an omen, as a sign or something. Like I think she actually said that in the story in the movie, and it was like, okay, now, if we had to say some shit like that, it'd have been like, yo, the world's about to end. Something's not right, you know. But she took it as a sign, and I think that was probably the first indicator that the rule was going to be like aware, because nobody else was looking up. Like, I'm just like, how did y'all miss that? She was the only person to sit there and see that, and I'd have been like,
it was a big explosion. I don't know how anyone else didn't see it.
I didn't see that. And then I guess it's like they landed somewhere so far from where their tribe was. But at the same time, it was dark enough, but it wasn't that dark enough for them not to see that. But by her seeing it, it kept her on 10 the entire movie. And thank God. Thank God.
Yeah. So let's talk about some positives, man. So what are some things that you liked about the film?
Oh man, Naru, and her relationship with her brother Tobby. Now, you know me, I was crushing on Tobby though, but I was like, Naru would make me, you know, switch over, because not just because of how strong, it was just that she was just such an engaging character. I really loved when she was doing shit not out the norm, but she was thinking outside the box in terms of honey. Like, you remember when they sat there and made fun of her, oh, you can't keep up with your weapon, when she made that weapon when she made that axe with the little
I'm
they like, no, that's smart as fuck. Like, what's wrong with y'all? Like, it's quicker.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? And you keep your hand on your weapon at all times. Technically, like, she could sit there and take out shit coming at her before it even gets up close to her. And I just liked how the whole thing about medicine, because see, She was learning from her mom, and it wasn't like she
Yeah.
was trying to negate, like reject everything that they wanted her to learn in terms of like finding food and cooking and getting medicine prepared and everything like that. Like, no, she wanted to be a jack of all trades,
Mhm.
and I think that's a great um attribute to have, especially back then, because that means that you don't have to rely on anybody. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah.
So
No,
that
they
was
made her like a very strong character. It was
very
just
strong.
like, she, like you said before, she saw things that no one else could see, and she just wanted to be like, yeah, you guys could actually see a woman, in a place of strength. We're just not people that are going to be sitting there cooking the deer for you, or,
Mhm.
making the medicine for you, or watching the kids, or having the kids. We
Mhm.
could actually be these like figures of strength also,
Right.
which she
It's
was doing. She was breaking the barriers.
exact, and then it's like the atmosphere of the atmosphere. It feels like that culture don't really put the hammer down on the women trying to learn stuff, because her dad
Mhm.
left her, you know, his weapon.
Yeah.
So if he could have sat there, and I guess when he passed away, he could have left all his stuff to Tabi, but he was like, no, I want you to be prepared just as much as Tabi. So it's just like that culture is not so stringent on there. It's just they just, because even sometimes even our culture is not stringent on that nowadays, but it's just you still
Yeah.
have those who are still like in that patriarchal role, like the man's the head of the household, the woman's weak and stuff like that. And that's another positive for me, because I with Naru, not only did the tribe, well, I would say the tribe as a whole, but not only did some of the members of the tribe perceive her as like being in a way and weak, the predator did as well. And that's what he
Oh
fucked up.
yeah.
And it was like, not only, I guess Naru was sitting there thinking to herself, like, oh, it's one thing for these motherfuckers I gotta sit here and live with, to think of like just little floozy running around the damn forest. You what other hand? Like, no, you finna learn today.
Oh
That's the
yeah.
what they call it. That's the epitome of fuck around and find out.
Fuck around and find out.
And that's
I don't
exactly
play
what the
games,
predator
son.
did. Shit.
Oh
Boy,
yeah.
but also I just the story is such a, I don't want to call it a simple story. The reason why the story also worked for me is that stuff that was introduced early in the
Mhm.
movie that you probably thought was, literally you probably thought was not that big of a deal to the plot, it emerged as a integral plot point in the final act. And so
Yeah.
when movies do that and they do it well, that's a big plus for me,
Yeah.
because
Same.
I recently did that with Freaky. I just recently watched Freaky, and there was a scene in the movie where the guy that the Millie was into, he just told her, like, just set your clock 5 hours, your watch 5 minutes faster. That way you're always on time. You think it's like a cute little pickup line, and that shit actually came back to work in the end. So it's just like when you do that shit real well, it's like it's like the chef's kiss. Like
Yeah. 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 Definitely. I think for me also, like, the story really was like written well for me. Like I felt like it was very paced well. Also, it didn't feel like one of those films where like they just rushed everything, for the sake of like time or just movie.
right,
Like it just
right,
felt like everything was placed well within the time frame of the movie that it was made as. Because
right.
like in the beginning of the film, it's like you start off, you see Naru, she's talking about like, they see a monster that comes in and what have you. And like just like a few minutes in, you see like the crashing of the ship,
Mhm.
and like Naru, she sees it as like a sign, she thinks it's a sign. But for us that seemed like the Predator movies, well, I
Mhm.
found this out afterwards, like that's literally the Predator, crash
Yeah.
landing in on Earth. So
Yeah.
it was no damn sign. It was just like, nah, that nigga's home. He's
He
like, I'm
home.
here,
Yeah.
bitches.
He exactly like, I'm here to hunt. Where y'all niggas at? Where y'all
Let
at?
the games begin.
And I love it after he crashed, and then they pan up, and then you see the title of the movie in the
Oh
Predator front. It's
yeah,
just like,
yeah.
you know what this is. You know what time it is. Like, don't get
Yeah.
it twisted. So I really love this shot. And so, but yeah, I don't know. It's just so much to gush over. And I've also felt that I think it's Sari,
Oh, the dog.
the
Yeah.
dog. Oh my god. I just recently played Blair Witch, the video game, and
Uh-huh.
it's the same, it's almost the exact same thing where you have a main character and his dog is his like sidekick and an important, not a weapon, but I don't want to call dogs a weapon or a tool, but it's just that you start to care for the dog just as much as you do the actual
Yeah.
character.
Yeah.
So every time Sari went off, I'm like, don't do nothing to the dog. Don't do nothing to the dog, because as you can see, the predator was taking out all these things that was predatory, like the
Yeah.
snake and then the wolf. It was like, oh, this is fun. I'm just fucking up all types of shit. So it was just, I was worried about the dog and like, oh no, nothing, please don't happen to him. And then also one plot point I want to mention is the fact that if you've seen enough Predator movies, when the Rue came across the buffalo, the
Oh
skinned
yeah.
buffalo,
Yeah.
I sat there and said, as soon as I saw this shit, first time seeing the movie, as soon as I saw this shit, I said, that's not the Predator. He wouldn't do no shit like that. Like, buffalo aren't threatening. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, something else is a threat. You know what I'm saying? So I didn't. And then you also saw the whole thing with the bear traps. And I was like, the Predator used bear traps. I'm like, who's out here setting bear traps? And I'm like, I know the natives are not using bear traps. So I was like, what's going on? So yeah, that was another good plot point for me, because I was always picking up. But it wasn't one of those moments where you like, oh, I thought I figured this out way before, X, Y, and Z. It was more like you knew it was something else afoot, but you get so lost in the story that you somewhat forget it, and then when it comes back up, you're like, aha, I knew it, so it was like, I knew this shit already, but it's like, aha, I knew it, great.
See, that's funny that you mentioned it, because I didn't even think about it with the buffalo like that. Like, buffalo really aren't threatening. So
No. And if anything, as you saw that, which is another thing about the storyline and the pacing, is the fact that you saw when the predator was hunting, you saw that he saw the rabbit, and then all of a sudden you saw the wolf,
yeah,
or the coyote, whichever one it was, and then instead of the predator going after the bunny, he went after the wolf. And the same thing with the ant. The ant crawling up on him in camouflage, and then the mouse coming up and eating the ant, and then the snake eating, and the predator, you're the predator. So I finished of this particular situation. So he was going after predatory creatures. And we all know that buffalo are not predatory creatures. So it was just like, who took time to sit there and skin all these damn buffalo? It was like, he didn't have time to do that because he's out hunting. So it was like, okay, what else is going on here?
It's those Frenchmen.
Yeah.
Oh man, those guys were like, those were something. Those guys were something else.
Right. I don't know if in any of the Predator movie that they have where you had a group of people come in and just be, they reminded me of, it just came to me. They reminded me of the competitive dinosaur trackers in the Lost World. Coming in and just fucking up shit, not knowing what the fuck they're dealing with.
Yeah.
And because we'll get to that in a minute, but I was like, I still didn't know why they were there, what were they trying to achieve. But at the end of the day, though, their presence still carried the movie to the next stage, because you have all these predators like with them and with the actual predator, and then it's just like Naru and Tommy's like, fuck, we got like them coming in all corners that I ass.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess we'll talk about them in the second half of the show. But what do you think of this, the graphics, man, the CGI, man? I know us horror fans, we some of us it's either like a hit or miss thing. Some people love CGI, a lot of people don't. They want the practical effects. I mean, I'm more of like, if it looks good, I don't care.
Right.
But what you think, man? Because I thought the CGI was pretty decent.
I did too. I really did. I would say on one scene that I was like, I ain't say it looked bad. It just looked, like we could tell it was CGI. But you
Was it
can
the
still
bear scene?
was it the scene when he cut the bear out of blood flew
Yeah,
on him and stuff?
yeah,
Yeah. I was like, okay, but then I was like, initially I just chalked it up to being like that damn camouflage technology is just like, banging, you know what I'm saying? Because
Yeah,
it was a
yeah.
cool shot, but at the same time, just like y'all could like darken the like had some practical blood come out of there or something like that or something. But I guess they could do practical with unless they had him in a green screen and then they just sat there just do practical blood on him or something like that. It was like it was okay. It was straight. But other
Yeah,
than that,
yeah.
the CGI with the snake and then the tiger and the wolf or coyote, whichever one it was.
Mhm.
And even when some of the mixture of practical effects and
The
CGI
CGI.
was it blended in well, which is crazy because it still reminds me of some of the earlier Predator movies. And I'm not talking about I'm talking about like the 92 and original Predator movies. Like
Oh yeah, with Arnie and all that.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I thought so too. I thought like they did a good job with like carrying over like the original like infrared look, the heating look that they did with the Predator
Mhm.
in like the original films versus like how like if you watch like Predators or like AVP, they kind of like advanced the like infrared like technology a bit and kind of like change up the color scheme and what have you. I do like the fact that in Prey they kind of call back to the original like color scheme look and just like the whole original infrared effect mixed in with like the whole alien writing that goes with it too.
Right. And I wonder if it has something to do with the fact that by this being a prequel, that they went back and just, I guess, did a rudimentary, I think it's the right word for it, but just like a basic, like, okay,
Mm-hmm.
so since this is a prequel, we're going to take it back to basics and therefore give you the original because who's to sit there and say like in the future movies that came out, the movies that took place in the present, that
Mm-hmm.
the predator race did advance their technology or something like that. And that's why I was looking
Yeah.
like that in the later sequels, but it was a fan service and a way of just saying like, kind of like with the Star Trek prequel shows is all right now. They're incorporating certain things from the original shows, but updated a little bit, but it's
Mm-hmm.
still there like a throwback.
Yeah, I think the film itself, well, like Prey, going back to like Prey, I'm speaking of, I feel like them just going back to like the original, like the whole like color scheme and just updating it, giving it a better look is better because it doesn't feel like they try to go too like off the wall or too like different with like how the other color schemes and everything else used to be like whenever the predator sees its victims and what have you, you know.
Mhm. I also think that the with the predator, the way that he hunted and they that was his point of view
Yeah,
most of the
yeah.
time. And it also comes back into play when Naru gives the medicine to that guy and he
Mm-hmm.
starts saying he was cold.
Oh
And you
yeah.
not know because see, I forgot that because I was trying to figure out when are they gonna because when she gets sucked into the quicksand type shit, I'm like, oh, so she's gonna be camouflaged and he's not gonna see her because I think he was behind her, but he wasn't like up on her at the time. So I
Mm-hmm.
was thinking they're gonna go back to the whole put yourself in mud, he can't see you, type thing.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
smartly, they took the fact that the medicine that she was making was cooling the body down.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, oh shit, that is so fucking like cool,
Yeah,
smart,
yeah. I didn't even catch that
innovative.
on the first list. I didn't catch
Right.
it on the first watch. I literally watched it a second time, and I was like, "Oh, that's actually really genius," you know?
Right. Cause I was like, I'm not gonna lie, but whole dude was like, when she read off and dude was still they have a foot, and then of course he could not have a foot, but he could not
Yeah,
reverse
yeah,
foot, but
yeah.
she's like, you're dead. Like I'm gonna go, and then but then the predator came up like, wait a minute, I see war blood, but I don't see a body. Like, what's going on? Like, I don't. The body's dead right here, but the blood is still warm. And I forgot what set him off. I thought of the dude smoked or something like
he
that.
stepped on the dude's leg, the cut one.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. And he's like, sneaky son of a bitch. I can't. But the Rue sat there saying, "Oh, that makes the body cold. He can't see you." And so she didn't have any fresh cuts and stuff like that. See, she just took up there. When I tell you, she not broke it down, but she sat there and studied the pure fuck out of his, because in the actuality of all things, the predator was the prey. Because she was sitting there taking up. It's like they were both like predator and prey, just like they switched up and everything. Because she was sitting there like, and then with his the weapon he has, his helmet, she was like, "Oh, I need that motherfucker." And I'm like, she sat there and actually get that weapon and helmet off his head. She's like, "Oh, I'm gonna fuck you up now." I was like, "Yes, fuck his ass up," because he sat there, came to earth thinking like, "Oh, you ain't y'all some bitches." You know what I'm saying? Like, y'all ain't gonna do shit. And then she comes up and like, "Oh, I'll show you a bitch, motherfucker." Like, I'll show you a bitch, because I felt bad. I actually felt upset for her when she was like running away. And he stopped, and he was pretty much like, girl, bye. It's you again. I ain't stirring your ass and stuff.
Right.
I don't know, but yeah, it's great scenes. I can gush about this all day.
All right, man. Well, right now we're gonna go ahead and take a break, man. And when we come back, we're gonna still talk about this movie. We're gonna be talking about things that we hate. It's gonna get grimy. We about to get grimy.
Very disgusting.
All right. So right now we'll be back with Mark Estes. You know. Yep. So like you shouldn't say in a scary movie, y'all. I'll be right back. With Mark Estes.
What?
Yep. So right now we about to get into the second half of the show. Right now, we're about to talk about some of the negatives that we feel about this movie. So I want to start off with you, Mark. What are some of the negatives you have for this film? What are one of the things you felt that was just like bad?
Well, I would have to say, because I thought it initially wasn't just the way I had my subtitles set up. Mm-hmm. But when the Frenchmen were introduced and their entire language was in French, I was a little taken aback by that. Even though I did take French in both high school and college, that was ages ago. So it was just like I could pick up a word or two, but it was like I'm not that fluid in French like I used to be. So it's like, what are y'all talking about? Like, what are y'all trying to do? Why are y'all there? And this is what I was saying earlier in the episode, where I was like, I knew that the predator was not the one sitting there setting these traps, because first of all, the first trap that got Sari, whatever her name was, that was pre-interest of the predator. So we knew it wasn't him. Yeah. But at the same time, we saw the buffalo, and I'm like, that's not his work. Yeah, they're skinned, but that's not his work. So I guess what I was trying to figure out was, were the Frenchmen trying to capture game, or were they actually trying to track the predator? Like, they initially came in the area to track game, but then they caught up with the predator, and they kind of like probably realized that he was out there, and they was like, well, we got to catch this thing, you know? And,
yeah. But I think it's more coincidence, you know? Okay. Yeah, I feel like it's more coincidence. Like, at first they're out there, you know, skinning animals, capturing them for whatever their reasons are, you know, poaching reasons. You know, I know from what I was reading about this movie, you know, those guys were out there just to skin alive animals and take them for their fur and everything.
Okay.
Yeah, so they were pretty much, yeah, right. So they were fur hunters and all that.
Okay, that makes so much more sense. Okay. Okay, but I
Yes.
still didn't understand what the fuck they were saying. That's the thing I was like, I just need to know what they're talking about so I can keep up with what the fuck is going on, because I was just lost when they was talking in their scenes.
Yeah, nah, I feel you, because I was the same way. I'm like, I'm lost in the motherfucker. What are these dudes talking about? You know?
Because it was funny, because when they did start talking, you expected the subtitles to tell you. They could have kept talking in French all day long, but they could have just
Mhm.
gave us some subtitles about what was going on, because we know that probably the Comanche people probably did, like Naru and Tommy probably didn't know what they were saying, because they're probably, but then again, they were speaking English. But I think they was doing that because we presented this movie to an English audience, so we can't have them. But they probably did like you said, they got the Comanche version, so it probably was going to be all the Comanche language. But
Mhm.
still, it was like, in the world of that story, I don't think they would probably understand what, especially if they're speaking French.
Yeah.
They probably know how to
Yeah.
speak some English, but y'all speaking fluent French is like y'all lost us and the Comanche people. So
Yeah.
that was a negative
Yeah.
for me.
Yeah. Nah, I feel like that's probably like one of my negatives as well. I mean, not so much as the French part, but just for the simple fact, like, this movie didn't go full Comanche language, you know, and that we had to get like a dub version in order to like get that actual, I feel like, the real experience of the film, and how I feel like, you know, those people should be speaking in that universe, you know,
Right.
because I'm thinking to myself, this is like 1719. I don't think like
Right.
just yet any settlers have came in and kind of traded off with the tribes or anything like that, or, you know, taught them any English, or quote
They
unquote forced them to speak English, you know?
Right. Especially that fluently. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's like that was like their language, like their main language, the way they were speaking it. And they did use some terms here and there and everything, but it was just kind of like, it would have been interesting to have the whole movie be in Comanche and just let them talk the regular language. And then, like you said, dub it and we have the subtitles to see what they're saying,
Hmm.
because it would have been like, fuck the people who expect to come in and watch an English speaking movie.
Yeah.
Just sit there and just get immersed, because this was the world back then. I'm
Yeah.
saying
Yeah.
this was
But
the
see,
world
that's
back
like with
then.
Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, you know.
Right. I was thinking about that. Yeah.
Yeah, that movie was in theaters, and it was totally subtitled. It wasn't
Right.
dubbed. It was subtitled. You know, they
Right.
spoke the actual, because I can't remember whether it was like Chinese or Japanese, so I'm not gonna be like racist or
Right.
anything about this.
I understand. I understand.
You know,
Mhm.
but you know, they were speaking the native language for that film, you know.
Right.
It wasn't like, oh yeah, you know, we need to make a dub version in order for people to kind of like watch this film. No, they were like, nah, fuck that shit. We're gonna record it like how we want to, in the language we want to, and we're gonna present it to the theaters. And we're gonna let the sales talk for themselves.
Exactly. And
And
this
it was
movie
the biggest film
the
back
year.
in
Yeah.
like what, 98,
Like,
2000 and all
yeah,
that.
yeah, 98, 97, 99, something like that. Cause I remember me and my brother watched it, and like you said, we still could read what was going on and still watch them twirl and with folks' asses left and right in their movie. It's like you could still done that with this, but just give us. I don't mind reading subtitles, as long as they don't distract from the action in the movie. But
Yeah.
sometimes you don't, when the action is actiony. I don't want to say like make up with the word, but with a lot of action going on, you
Hmm.
gotta pay. You can pretty much pick up their reactions to tell the
Yeah.
story. You know what I'm saying? So it ain't like you gotta sit there and just read. But yeah, I would have been okay. Like the last scene with the fight, they would have been. I mean, there was no words because the
Yeah.
pearl doesn't mute.
Yeah.
The Rouge is trying to whip his ass. So it's like, okay, y'all would have still enjoyed that fight, you know?
I think also for me, for like what was also kind of bad, but it wasn't like anything that was like too um much of a big deal, but was like sometimes there was like inconsistent audio with the movie, and I was just like, yo, what is up with this? And that's something that kind of like annoys me
Mhm.
sometimes, is when like the audio is never really like
Synced.
synced up properly. You know, it's like you get one scene that's like real loud, and then you have another scene that's like really low. Like the scene, and it was just only one scene that I could really um distinguish where it had that problem where the sound was inconsistent, but it was the scene where Wasabi in that group captured Naru and was trying to take her back to the tribe and everything, but before they could really take her, she whipped their asses and everything like that. But then they ended up whooping her ass and tying her up and holding her captive and everything like that. And I just noticed like from that scene, because the scene before it, I can't remember. I think it was like her. She was she was escaping from the predator, and just before Itzy, I believe that's his name, got killed by the predator when they were running through like that little little bushy area and what have you.
Right. Yeah.
That's when like she got caught up with like the other like guys from the tribe and what have you, and that scene just jumped from like loud sounding audio to like just this like really quiet audio.
I hate that too. Now that you pointed it out, I initially thought there was a Hulu issue, because Hulu's issues, because just quick, the American Horror Stories show on there, there's certain episodes where you have to turn the TV. There's certain moments in the show where you have to turn the TV all the way up just to hear them talk, and it's like, why are y'all whispering? You're by yourselves. Why are you whispering? But I thought it was a Hulu issue, but it may be, I mean, now that you bring that, now I know that you heard it too, so that means that it's probably an issue with the movie, and that sucks.
I think it's more of a production issue sometimes, and it's probably something that they probably have difficulty fixing, because probably it's like something wrong with like how they recorded with the mics and what have you, or just like something went wrong in post-production. Because I've edited a film, a movie before, not a movie, but a video before. I don't want to sound like I've been like in Hollywood. I ain't doing no Hollywood shit. I'm just making like videos for people, nothing crazy or serious, but it's just like, I've worked with sound before, and this documentary that I'm working on for my job, I noticed like it's like there was audio that's kind of like hard to fix because of like just production issues, like just probably from the way I was filming, or just like, maybe the person didn't speak up high enough, or, a whole list of other issues that could have been like the problem.
But that's why you probably picked up on it so quick, is because you work with it so much, and it's just something that you can just point out, which is a damn good attribute, because a lot of folks don't have that. They just sit to be like, this damn TV, or this damn thing is up there. And you're like, nah, that's the sound production. They fucked up.
Yeah.
Shit, that's what I was like, this damn Hulu shit. But he was like, nah, they fucked up sound production.
They definitely did. It's not because in that case, it would have just been the whole film that would have been fucked up, or more parts in the film fucked up. Nah, it's literally just like probably like one scene that they kind of overlooked and was just like, oh shit, why didn't we get to this?
Right. But my other thing was, we talked about this a few minutes ago, was the death of Tommy. That upset the pure fuck out of me, because I was like, no, Tommy, don't work with her. Don't try to save her. Work with her. And then I'm like, you just made War Chief. Say your name. I'm like,
oh yeah.
Like, what the fuck? So I was just so upset, because I was nervous. I actually initially thought that when the other, was it Wasabi and them, came up and they were like, oh, your brother's looking for you. I'm like, oh fuck, she's gonna probably find him filleted somewhere. And it's gonna be a sad scene, because you just see him for a long ass time. And then you realize that the damn freshman had captured him. I'm like, oh fuck, you let them capture you, Wasabi? Come on, man. You took a whole ass lion. Come on, bro. But then I was scared they're gonna end up killing him or Sari. So I was like, somebody's gonna have to go, that you're gonna have to feel for, because all the freshmen were just body count fodder. That's all they were. It's like,
oh yeah,
they kept coming. It was like a wave from a damn video game. Like, how many of y'all is it? Like, damn.
Like it was just the first herd, The
first herd. The first wave. Here's the second wave of freshmen. I'm like, how close are y'all to this freshman this freshman company or whatever? But no, just Tommy's death was just, I was like, it was too soon. It was entirely too
Yeah.
soon.
Now, funny thing that you talked about, like the wave of Frenchmen that were in the movie. I was thinking the same thing when I watched it the second time. Because when Predator killed like that first swarm that was like behind like the fat dude and old boy that was with him, I was like, oh damn, that's the group.
That's the
And
group.
then and then once when he got caught in that bear trap, Predator, I mean, when Predator got caught in the bear trap, all you saw was the swarm, and I was just like, nigga, where the fuck did y'all come from?
Exactly. Like y'all just been sitting here chilling the whole entire time. It's like I could have used y'all's fucking help, but no, y'all over here chilling. Like we gonna have him use us to pray. And like, no, motherfucker. And that's why she said they got that motherfucker in the end. Like y'all use me as prey, y'all use my brother as prey, and now we use your ass as prey. Like, that's what I'm talking about, there in the room. You better sit there and flip the switch on their ass.
Yeah, but see, that's the thing. I do like the fact that like Naru figured out that the way Predator hunts, he doesn't hunt after bait. He goes after people who attack, people that are a threat. So I thought that was a good way of like showing like, because I feel like this is a film for somebody like me, someone who actually watched a Predator movie for the first time. And it was just like, oh, okay. They kind of like laid out everything about Predator without actually needing to watch like various Predator movies or, the original before then. And I really do think like, they really written this movie really well. And honestly, I mean, there's not that many bad parts to it. I mean, besides the parts that we're nitpicking at a little bit, because I mean, we all need something to nitpick at,
Nitpick, right. It's kind of like, I'm just gonna sit here and say that this is a negative because I just have to show you, this could be a little tweak, but everything else is fine. So.
Yeah. Because even when I was watching it, I was like, damn, where is the negatives in this film? And I could think of so many negatives with like movies like Black Phone that everybody's like into. And I was just like, bro, this movie ain't it.
I haven't seen it yet, but I read the short story and I was trying to figure out how it was going, because the short story is not that long. Mm-hmm. And the character, Ethan Hawke's character,
the grabber,
it just seemed like the trailer not gave away per se, but it just seemed like it gave him a lot more to do. And it made him even more, it made him creepier than he was in the short story. The short story itself was creepy. And the concept of kids getting snatched by these creepy ass, I watch true crime documentaries all the time.
So, same.
So so it's just like, it's like I thought he has some type of supernatural element to him, but in the short story, but he didn't. And it was just the only thing was the phone that was there. But I mean, there's gonna be and we're going into spooky season. We're in spooky season, and we're gonna have a shit ton of movies coming at us. And some people are gonna like hype them up, and some people are gonna be like, well, that was shit, so, so you might want to get ready for that. It's just funny that you mentioned. I wanted to ask you that though, because you said you was looking for you weren't looking for negatives. You were just trying to see if they negative. Do you recall that when the movie was announced and it was going to be a Hulu original, a lot of people was looking for it to fuck up and fail?
Oh yeah. No, I was definitely like hearing about like how everybody was like, oh, this is gonna be a Hulu movie. This shit is gonna be trash. Right. I'm not even gonna lie. I actually thought it was gonna be the same way also, because I'm thinking like it's Hulu, man.
I think the thing was though that I think it was initially, I could be wrong, I don't have my information in front of me, but I think it was initially supposed to be a theatrical run, but Hulu was like, because Hulu is now owned by Disney, and they gotta be careful about what they release and shit like that. Which is interesting because Disney actually owns the later Halloween movies and the Children of Corn movies and all of those. That's a little low-key dark secret that I want a lot of people to know. But
I mean, don't forget Alien too. Yeah, I mean, the Xenomorphs is now a Disney princess,
Yeah, and their TV show is going to be exclusive. It's gonna be on Hulu. Oh no, it's FX, but that's all about Hulu. So it's like,
yeah.
But I'm glad that that Prey did as well as it did, because the talent behind it. I think Dan Trachtenberg, he has made a lot of great movies, and I think the writer is like I think he's a kid, not a kid, but I think he's familiar with the Predator franchise. I think he actually wrote a couple of the earlier movies.
Mhm.
So it was like you had a good team right there. It was just that I guess people was expected to be bad because it didn't go to the theaters. And I think that's the thought process of a lot of people is that when shit don't go to the theaters, it's automatically gonna be pursued bad. The only thing that we had to deviate from that logic was the HBO Max Warner Brother saying they premiere in theater type shit that happened last year.
Yeah.
But hell, some of those were just like Conjuring 3, that was not good.
Oh no, that movie was terrible.
And that was in theater. So it's like you can't really go with it all the way. But I was gonna also add is that the fact that this Predator, that Prey did so damn well for Hulu, it made gangbusters and like streaming and stuff like that. That makes me get even more hyper, even hyper for Hellraiser when it drops.
Yeah. Apparently, Pinhead is going to be a woman in this film, which is interesting.
Well, they were supposed to be. They was kind of like, I would say, I don't want to say non-binary or genderless, but in the novella, they didn't have defined pronoun. They just called the Hell Priest or something like that. They didn't even have their Pinhead. But yeah, so I'm excited about that though, because I feel like they could have put Hellraiser in theaters, but I think today's audience outside of us, you know what I'm saying?
I don't think people are ready to see that in theaters.
Right. I mean, back then you had that splatterpunk, gothic, leather headbangers ball type crew from like the late 80s and stuff like that, where you could get away with shit like that. But now everything's so hunky-dory and rosy. How can you promote that on TV like it's 7:00 at night or 8:00 at night?
Yeah.
You watching Law and Order, then a trailer for Hellraiser comes out. They're gonna still have to do it somehow because they did it with Prey, but it's just the fact that they're gonna probably have to like tone down a lot, and it's just a familiar property for those to be like, oh, Hellraiser is back. I'm just glad it's been taken out of direct DVD hell. So, but yeah, I think that was the only thing that I mean, I know a lot of people wanted this to fail. I had a friend that was like, oh, I'm not even gonna bother watching this shit. He's a huge Predator fan. And after I saw it, and then he saw all the hoopla stuff like that. Let me take that back. After he saw the hoopla, he went on ahead and watched it. When I sat there and watched it, man, this shit's good as fuck.
Yeah.
I don't know, Mark. I mean, I'm like, man, shut the fuck up. I'm telling you what time it is. I'm telling you, your boy, your college roommate, your brother that sat there and told you that the franchise that you love is back, and you sit there and ignoring me? Are you serious?
Right.
So he was like, well, I'll check it out. I'm like, you better shit.
No, I feel like as like, for us being horror fans, I feel like there is like a sort of, I want to say a bias against like prequels and sequels, and we think like just automatically like, if something is rebooted, and if they had a long track record of being bad because of like the sequels and everything, we're just going to be like, we're going to dismiss it, and I feel like that's what the whole hoopla is going on. I mean, right now we got like a whole hoopla going on about the Addams family, about how Luis Guzman and Catherine Zeta-Jones shouldn't even be cast and all that. And it's just like, the fuck you want? They can't dig up the grave of Raul Julia. Like, the fuck? Like, what y'all niggas want?
Exactly, because my thing was, I know some people say like Luis Guzman is like, I think some people say that because he's Latino, he's not Gomez. I'm like, his name is Gomez. That's the most Latino name that I can fucking find. And then he looked exactly like the cartoon character. So the way they got it set up. And then I said, do y'all not remember the time they cast Daryl Hannah and Tim Curry, two of the whitest people, as Gomez and Morticia? It's like they went straight to DVD.
Right.
It's like, come on now, y'all. Let's just like chill out about it.
It's that. I mean, I don't want to get into it, but I mean, sometimes it's just that ignorant factor of just like saying like, oh man, somebody shouldn't be this because of blah, blah, blah,
blah, blah, blah.
Name X random XYZ reason, and I'm just like, bro, like that don't make sense half the time,
right? You're
but
showing your
like,
colors. And I tell
yeah,
people, you're showing your colors. You're
right,
showing your colors. Like just keep talking so I can sit there and be like, unfollow.
yeah,
Why you
right.
unfollow me? Because you're ignorant as fuck. And you proudly sit in your ignorance. I can't fuck with it. What
Yeah,
about the
but
Addams family?
to me, I mean, I don't really care about like, you know, if
I meant
it's
the Addams
Louis
family. I'm
Dumont.
sorry. I meant to say the monsters. Excuse me.
The
I'm sorry.
monsters. Oh, the monsters. Oh my god, that's gonna be interesting for something that's being done by Rob Zombie.
Exactly.
I'm just like, and this is gonna be a PG movie, so I'm gonna feel weird that they're not saying motherfucker for like 3 straight minutes and all
Minutes and stuff
that.
like that.
So,
Or something dirty or something like that.
oh
But
my god, but
it's gonna be
yeah,
interesting.
I can't stand Sherry Moon Zombie's acting because it's more of her voice. Her voice is her voice kind of irks me a little bit. Like she's a good looking woman, but it's like her voice kind of like it'll be the one thing that will turn me off. It'll be like, yeah, I'm good, fam.
it scared me in the House of a Thousand Corpses because that whole scene where she's
Yeah,
cackling when they're sitting there cutting up Rainn Wilson's character, and she
yeah,
just sitting there cackling and dancing back and forth. That shit, that's the only scene in the movie that terrifies me. Really, is there because you can see some crazy bitch sitting there just like while you sitting there getting cut the fuck up. You like either shut the fuck up and stop cutting me. I can only take so much. Like, damn, you killed too much your damn laughter. Like, how the fuck you managed to do that?
right, right. I agree with you, man, because I feel like in House of a Thousand Corpses that really kind of like it's like accentuated the whole baby character
Right.
and kind of made her a frightening character in the movie. Like just this crazy bitch just like out of nowhere. She's attractive but she's crazy, and it's like you're thinking like, do I want to fuck her or do I want to run away from her? Like
Run,
she gave me
boy,
that.
you while you sitting there hitting that shit, she might slice your damn throat. You
Yeah,
like,
right, right.
damn, like I didn't even get a chance. Praying mantis on that ass.
Right. She's like, you want a bust? Slit your throat, and you're just leaking all over the place. But I want to say like another movie she was good in, which I didn't mind her voice so much because I feel like she kind of did some type of control with it, or she kind of like projected a certain way, but was Lords of Salem.
I was thinking you're gonna say that because that was the only one that I actually liked her in, like really, really liked her in because
Yeah,
she was just chill in that movie. She wasn't like on 10. And those some people probably sit there and say she wasn't in 10 on 10 in Halloween, but I'm like, no, she was up there a little bit,
oh
She tried to
yeah,
be serious though, but it wasn't going across because that's the thing about I know we got on this, but I want to say this right quick about Sherry Moon Zombie. It's just the fact that she went from being like this crazy young girl to this mother figure to like this teenager because she was like she gave off teenager in the Lords of Salem or probably her early 20s or something like that. But it's just she's all over the place, like in terms of acting and stuff. So it'd be interesting to see her as I would say Morticia as Lily Monster because I don't know.
yeah. I don't know either.
Yeah, but
I mean,
think
go ahead.
the uncle just say what you were saying about like prequels, and I'm a big person who don't like horror prequels too much, only because it's like we know how this is going to end. We know whoever the villain or the creature or what have you gets it, whoever they get in contact with, everybody's gonna die. And I feel like I'm just wasting my time seeing people get killed. And most people are like, well, that's hard. It's hard for you. I'm like, yeah, but if it doesn't add anything to the story, it's just a way for you to be like, okay, we don't want to give you a sequel. We will give you how all this shit came to be. There's certain movies that I'm okay with. For instance, Halloween, Rob Zombie's Halloween, which is sort of like a prequel / remake. That was okay. But in terms of like the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the beginning, I was so disappointed in that movie because a lot of people, there's certain characters, and this is included with Prey, where you can have a prequel and everybody survive, or just you have because the thing about it is the Predator is not going to kill off the entire Comanche tribe. We know that didn't happen, and the fact that they do their hunt and then they go back to where they come from, if the person on Earth defeats them, excuse me, then you can't just be every like for the Texas Chainsaw Massacre at the beginning, for example, they didn't get caught. And I guess you could sit there and say they didn't get caught because of the fact that they killed everybody they came in contact with, except for Jessica Biel's character in the remake.
Yeah.
But I still feel that certain people could have escaped, and they could have escaped, but their mind is gone.
Yeah.
And they probably would take what they're saying as serious. And so with the second person, aka Sally Hardesty or whoever Jessica Biel's character was, I think Aaron, whoever they were could come in and be like, no, they're saying they're what they're saying is actually true, and then you go capture them, because at the end of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the remake, they still didn't capture his ass. So I was like, so if y'all still didn't capture him in the remake, then he's still after. Y'all could have went with the sequel, but y'all went with a prequel. It was just like, I don't care how the sheriff, how whatever his name became the sheriff, and how I don't care.
Yeah.
Give me something that's going to like actually move the story along. And again, sometimes when you don't know, because still you got the prequel with Prey, and you still, and the predator himself is still a mystery. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You still don't know how they select a predator to hunt. Like, we're gonna give you Earth. We don't know if their predator was on the same journey as Naru was when Tommy told her, this is your, I forgot what the name of it was.
Oh, it's the Kutamiya.
Yeah, this is your Kutamiya. Who's to sit there and say the predator has something similar? We don't know that because we don't care. I mean, some people probably do care, and I think there's a whole lot of extended universe shit out there. But for the general public and those who, we don't care. So you can still sell a prequel and keep some shit a mystery, or add something new to the overall story. But it just, I think that a lot of people do the cash grab, like, oh, that's a good idea. And so I think a lot of people thought that about Hulu doing Prey, and it was going to go straight to Hulu. They thought it was going to be another a cash grab movie, and it proved that it wasn't.
Yeah. Oh yeah, nah. It was definitely a movie well made. And I feel like it did prove a lot of the biases, the negative outrages that were being put out there, including myself. I'm not gonna exclude myself, because I was thinking this was gonna be a bad film. It ended up being like a really well-made film. So in closing, where are you ranking this as far as like 2022 films? Where is this one at?
This is at the top for me, Walter, because like I said, it's been a lot of movies I've missed this year. I've caught up with most of them, but this was the surprise hit. You know what I'm saying? Nobody. Yeah. I mean, I'm a co-sign with you. Even though I knew that this wasn't like going to be bad, because it was a Hulu original that I didn't automatically cast off as being a bad movie. But I'm still shocked at how well received it was, because a lot of people really enjoyed this movie, me included. And so I feel like this movie was the official start of spooky season, because it came after. I tell people all the time, the first weekend of August is the beginning of spooky season. I expect to see shit in the Halloween stores. I mean, not Halloween stores, but like in Walmart and Target and shit like that. I feel like this officially started the spooky season this year, even though it's kind of action adventure, science fiction, but it still had horror elements to it. So it had a body count. So I mean, So top, I would say top two. At this point, it's top two, but we got so much shit coming out of next 2 months. So.
I'm gonna have to say myself, like, it's up there in my top 5, if not the like top movie of this year. Even though like I want to say the Sadness, even though technically Sadness came out in 2021, it was released on Shudder this year. Right now Sadness is my top film, because they really like took it there in that movie.
I heard.
Yeah. They took it there in that movie, and another movie that's pretty much actually another surprise one for me, and I don't know if you watched it, but another one that's in the top is Incantation. That one's on Netflix.
I haven't seen that one yet.
Oh yeah,
shit, I have to add it to my list. Okay.
Yeah, you definitely gotta add that one. You got to add
Okay.
that one because it's a found footage movie, Asian
Okay.
film about possession, but they really do like, again, they kind of go above and beyond with the possession, also like the effects. A lot of it's practical effects, and just like the movie itself, after watching it for a while, you feel like you're watching a cursed film in a way. Like you're just like, oh man, if I gonna be expecting some shit to come at me?
Okay. Yeah, but see, the Asian horror market does not bullshit. But they come out with some shit. They come out swinging.
Oh, yeah.
They don't fuck with us. They be like, look, we finna give you this shit. And they be shaking us the whole entire time when they tell us the goddamn story. Like, damn, I gonna take so much. So the sadness I heard a lot of shit about, and I know a lot of some people was like, it's such a depraved movie. It was just like it was just gory. I'm like, I'm about to watch it for myself, so I can make my own decisions.
Oh yeah, but definitely Incantation. So I would say like, yeah, those two movies, Prey. Yeah, it's like those are like literally top 3 to me right now.
Could you give a top 5? Can you give like 2 more?
The 2 more, man, it's kind of like it's Scream, I want to say. And I forgot what I mentioned. Like, it's another movie that I know I mentioned in my life that was like in my top 5. But these are like movies that were out like super early, and it wasn't that many movies that came out, by then when they were all out. And if they were out, a lot of it was just mid.
Okay, I feel you. For me, it would be, I would say. Well, I forgot about Nope. Okay.
I haven't seen Nope yet. I just got it in my Amazon queue. So audience, I'm about to watch that shit soon. Don't trip.
But no, I would say my top 4 for right now, because I'm pretty sure I'm forgetting something.
X.
That's what I was going. That was going to be my
X
is my number 1.
I'm sorry. Yeah, X is like, yeah, nah, that would have to go over. Prey. Yeah.
I mean, because a lot of people was like, because I'm a Kid Cudi fan, so I was
yeah.
Cudi.
Oh, I already know.
But the thing of the matter is that I didn't see Ty West. Is such a damn good director. He's done some good shit.
Yeah.
I mean, so I knew that I hadn't heard from him in a minute. And then it was A24. I'm like, this is a damn trifecta for me. I was there opening day. I was like, that morning I took off work and went up in the theater and got my life. And I was so shocked at how good it was that I was like, damn, this is better than Scream 2022. So mine is X, Scream 2022, Prey, and Nope, and I don't have a number 5 yet. I'm pretty sure I'm in the same position as you. As I can't think of one at the moment, because I know some people thought I was gonna like they/them, but I didn't. It was cute, and I was a little disappointed in it, because that's one of those moments where you find out the gist of what's going on, and you're let down, like, oh, and so it got to, I mean, literally in the middle of the movie, I just sussed out everything that was going on, and I just sat there for the rest of the movie just like this, like, okay, so how's it gonna end?
I'm glad that you're the one that said it, because if I said it, I think some people would be like, what the hell is wrong with you? That was a classic
because
movie.
There was a lot of people in the LGBTQ community that was like, this movie dropped the ball. It's not just
it did.
It dropped the ball, because
God.
They advertised it as if it's gonna be like this Get Out scenario, and it wasn't.
Yeah.
And it was like Get Out meets it's just, I'm gonna tell y'all, it's not a gay conversion camp horror movie, but a TV show called Dead of Summer, if y'all can find it anywhere. They did the slasher summer camp thing way better than they/them did. So the only caveat for they/them was the cast of kids and Kevin Bacon and I forgot her name. Well, all the adults and the kids were great. It was just that the story itself was not.
It wasn't good.
It wasn't good.
It wasn't good at all.
I mean, I was like, y'all, all these.
There's so many there's so many camp movies that I could think of, including Sleepaway Camp, which I'm still kind of like on the fist about their twist as well. But I'm not saying like Sleepaway Camp is bad. I just thought like the twist was kind of like, left field in a way, because they didn't like build that little nugget of like, oh, well, this is who Angela is. But they slash them, they didn't have no type of nuggets. And then it just seemed weird when they did the reveal about who the killer is, but it kind of makes sense on like why they were doing it. But it's like,
but it was like so blatant, because I'm gonna say this. And we're gonna spoil the hell out this movie, y'all. If y'all haven't seen it yet, I'm just gonna be honest with y'all, because this is gonna be as far as I go with my review about it.
Yeah.
With the kill with the what's the guy named, the janitor or whoever the camp
the perverted guy.
Right. I'm thinking myself like, why they killing him? Because it seemed like they would. Whoever is on the staff would not be upset about that, because I'm thinking that they're going, because again, they marketed it as a slasher with these gay conversion people who, if you don't do what we say, we're gonna kill you. That's what it just felt like. But that wasn't it. And so when they got to the actual killing of the two camp counselors, I said, oh, I know exactly who the fucking killer is, and I know why they killed him, why they're killing, and I know it was just like, it just made so much sense. And so when everything played out the way I thought it was played, I was expecting to play out, I was just sitting there like, so none of the kids died, which is okay. But at the same time, I mean, one of them died, but that was because of the twist. I was like, okay, so nobody's life was really in danger.
No.
Outside of what we was outside of the dangers of gay conversion, but it was like nobody's life was in danger. The rest of the cast the background campers got shipped off outside of harm's way, but they really went in harm's way. It was just like, okay. And so I was left with this little sour taste in my mouth. Like, I told people, I gave it a 3.
Which is like very generous, by the way.
Everybody said that. Everybody said that. I had a gay friend of mine hit me up and said, that was very generous of you. Like, I just need to understand why you gave it a 3. Like, I mean, I told them because I like the cast. I like the cast,
which is good, because the cast were actual like kids who identify, with like gay, lesbian, trans,
and non-binary. And I felt like they had some great scenes though, but I was wanting them to be like out there fighting for their life. But the thing about it is, it's the same thing about writing for Black horror, and it's like you don't want to glorify violence against the communities that have always been marginalized and exploited in these movies. But I always tell people, on the same token, you can still have a good story and still give a good death too, because some people say women are being exploited left and right in horror movies, even though they drive them, but you can still have like valuable deaths that like matter, like for instance, the death of Annie Brackett in the Halloween 2 remake. That was very soul crushing when you saw that, because of the buildup that led up to it. But like you said, there was no buildup with the nuggets in the movie. So that was just, a lot of people thought I was gonna like that movie because they thought like, oh, it's a gay film, you should like it more. It's the same thing with Black horror. Like, because it's Black horror, that's not automatically like it if it's not done well.
Bad movies are still a bad movie, at the end of the day, and I felt like with the title itself, it was very misleading, honestly. But I was just like, you know what? This movie is gonna be a cult classic for like anybody who's like Gen Z or Gen Alpha right now,
You know what? That's a good point. That's a damn good point, because I'm pretty sure there's like a group of kids out there who are in that generation that's gonna be like, oh, this is such a great film, and a lot of people shitted on it when it first came out. Baby, I mean, there's nothing to study about it. I mean, because there's somebody told me, actually, this same person why'd you give it a 3? They said there's a way better movie on Tubi called Children of Sin. It's the same story, except that the kids are in actual danger. So it was like, they said, just go watch it on Tubi. It's way better. And I was like, okay, I'll cue it up one day. I didn't want to see gay conversion again for a long time. So
yeah. On that note, thank you, Mark, for coming to the show, man.
Man, anytime, man. I cannot wait to get you on my podcast. I just got.
I know, man.
I just got to figure out what movie. Coming. I know. I've been trying to get that. I've been trying to get that. I'm probably going to use your program you're using right now to get you on there because it seemed like it works. I know the last time I did a Zoom call with somebody, I fucked up and I couldn't edit it like I wanted it to.
Yeah.
So I'm a little leery about. So when we get off, I'm gonna ask how you did all that. But no, you're gonna be on soon. I just got to find a perfect movie for you to watch. I hope it's something that I'm not gonna make you mad when you watch it. I tend to watch a lot of obscure shit, and you probably like, Mark, what the fuck is this? You got me watching. So
man, I love obscure movies, man. You know, some of my favorites are pretty like obscure. So it's like if you go into like some deep obscure movies, I will definitely like it. You know.
Okay.
Yeah, man.
I got some for you then. I got some for you. Okay, then. Yeah. Right, but no, I'm glad to be here, man. I really, really enjoy sitting here talking with you.
Yep. And if y'all want to follow Mark, you know, he's on Instagram, Marco Estes. Twitter is The Anti-Critic. And for his show, Midnight Social Distortion is also on Instagram.
Yes.
Yes,
Thank
sir.
You so much. And I'm coming with new episodes soon. Promise.
Yeah. Hey, you and me both, we both be lacking. But it's like, it's life, man. It's life.
Life.
Yep. But anyway, I'm going to go ahead and take a break, y'all. And when I come back, I'm going to present to y'all the Slasher Corner movie of the week. So see you soon.
Peace.
See you, Mark. Thank you for coming again.
Anytime, man. Anytime.
We are back for the Slasher Corner movie of the week. As y'all know, I always give you guys a movie to watch each week. And this week's movie is going to be Predators 2. Since we are on the topic of Predator and talking about the movie of Prey, I just want to say Predator 2 will be a funny film. I mean, it's not a good film at all. Fair warning. I mean, all Slasher Corner movies of the week is not going to be really good movies or movies that particularly the overall consensus is everybody likes it. But I think this is a very interesting movie because you see Predator out of like his own natural habitat of usually hunting in the woods, now hunting in an area like Los Angeles, in the hood of Los Angeles, California, you know, my neck of the woods. But yeah, that'll be this Slasher Corner movie of the week. I mean, the movie stars Danny Glover. You get to see his ass play another cop in a cop movie. I feel like every movie we see this dude playing a cop in some form of fashion, you know? At least I feel like that. But definitely check that movie out. It is on Hulu. You can check that out. Other than that, I'm going to be out for the day. This is today's episode. And once again, I want to thank Mark for coming through. Definitely check out his podcast, Midnight Social Distortion. And this has been another episode of Let's Talk About Horror. This is America. Don't let him catch you slipping out. If you guys want to follow me on social media, that will be Walterdoom on Instagram, the Walterdoom on TikTok and Twitter, and Walterdoom everywhere else that involves streaming. So peace out. Stay diabolical, people.